Hello and welcome back to Euro Football Daily, where on today's Scout Report we're trawling through one of the busiest Januaries in memory to highlight 3 clever transfers we love. Let's start with Man City. Julian Alvarez. If this transfer window's taught us anything, it's that strikers are getting harder and harder to buy. Dusan Vlahovic heads to Juventus for 72 million after just 2 seasons as a recognised centre-forward, while Jonathan David and Alexander Isak are expected to fetch north of 50 million euros this summer, despite under 100 league goals between them. So in that context, it makes more sense than ever to try and make your own forwards, either from the academy or through early moves for cheap prospects who can develop, and that's exactly what Man City have aimed to do this window. Julian Alvarez joins the citizens for a fee of around £18 million, hardly chump change, but barely above the £40 million average for a Premier League transfer as calculated by Football Fancast in 2020. Just 22, Alvarez is already an Argentinian League, Copa America and Copa Libertadores champion, and has played as both a striker and a wide man, allowing Pep to mould him as he pleases. That makes sense given the Spaniard's exacting standards, and for all the criticism of Guardiola's free spending in the market, he has an obscene track record of bringing through youngsters, handing club debuts to Thiago, Kimmich, Busquets and Foden as under-21s, while Gabriel Jesus arrived in Manchester as a similar gamble from South America, going on to deliver a goal or an assist every 101 minutes for City across 220 appearances. Jesus may never have become an undisputed starter at the Etihad, but he's versatile, productive and perhaps makes for a good blueprint for Alvarez, who will spend the rest of the season in Buenos Aires before joining up with City in the summer. Like the Brazilian, Alvarez's positional flexibility should allow him to dovetail with any of the club's attackers, and his track record in his homeland actually exceeds Jesus's when he moved to Manchester, with Alvarez grabbing 18 goals and 6 assists in 21 league games so far this campaign, for one every 66 minutes. Jesus was only 19 at the time of his move, 3 years younger than Alvarez, so you'd expect a more developed game from the Argentinian, but still his production at the Estadio Monumental has been, well, monumental. Expected goals back up his insane scoring numbers, placing him at 0.75 xG per 90, which would rank 5th in the Premier League right now, and in every statistical measure, the youngster shines. 3.7 shots a game is exceptional, placing 4th in Argentina, while 2.5 key passes is the sort of number we'd expect from number 10, and this time ranks 6th in the domestic top flight. He's also a one-on-one threat, completing 2.5 dribbles a game, and so while it's a huge step up to the Prem, his dominance across the board in a lower division should increase City's confidence that he has the minerals for a bigger challenge. There's evidence too that Alvarez is a stylistic fit for Pep. While some forwards are rarely involved in play, young strikers like Osimhen and Isak making 15 passes apiece per match, a Guardiola attacker needs to be more comfortable on the ball, and Alvarez is much more of a presence and build-up with 34 passes per match, the same as Sterling, Firmino and Emile Smith-Rowe. He also loses possession 1.6 times a game, much better than Sterling's 2.5 and the same as Phil Foden, and whilst we'd expect that to go up when he reaches England, it indicates that he's not wasteful or sloppy, a must in Pep's religion of ball retention. Overall, Alvarez is an outstanding prospect who compares well to previous successful exports from Argentina like Lautaro Martinez. If he can replicate his current form in Manchester, Erling Haaland might not look quite so necessary. Wout Weghorst. Leaving aside moves like Alvarez's, mid-season transfers have slightly different characteristics than summer ones. January signings generally need to make an immediate impact without the benefit of a full pre-season or major tactical tweak. And so, whether you're in a title chase or relegation battle, you have to be careful who you target. Somebody who fits an established role in the squad, knows what's expected of them, and who can communicate with their new teammates. All this makes Burnley's capture of Wout Weghorst from Wolfsburg especially intelligent. The Clarets looked set for disaster when relegation rivals Newcastle triggered Chris Woods' £25 million buyout clause, with the Kiwi finishing the last 4 campaigns as their top or joint top goalscorer. But they turned half that fee around to bring in Dutch giant Valkhorst, who at 6'6" has put in appropriately towering performances over his 4 campaigns in the Bundesliga. In that time, Weghorst has contributed 17, 16 and 20 league goals across 3 full years, and this season he's bagged 6 at the halfway point, a downturn that could seem worrying if it wasn't contradicted by his expected goals numbers, which suggest he should have closer to 11 contributions. That's particularly impressive in a Wolfsburg side with the joint fewest goals in Germany, suggesting Weghorst can thrive despite a lack of service, and in fact his 0.5 xG per 90 would rank top of the Burnley squad both this campaign and last, as would his 2.2 shots per game. Around a quarter of those shots come with his head, which bodes well on a team which has the highest proportion of headed efforts in the Prem, but Valkhorst isn't just a big lump in the box. He's averaged over 1 chance created a match with the Wolves, good for 4th at Turf Moor this year, and wins 2 free kicks a game, while his hold-up play is strong, losing possession less often than all of Burnley's forwards, except for the now departed Wood. His movement is smart as well, with over 5 touches in the box and 7 forward passes received per 90, ranking 1st and 2nd versus Burnley's players, meaning that he's an outlet for teammates and can find space in the most congested areas of the pitch, and that should help Sean Dyche's men get upfield, something they've struggled with this season, with fewer touches in the 18-yard box than any other team. But best of all is Valkhorst's effort when his side doesn't have the ball. At present, Dwight McNeil is working himself into the ground, racking up nearly 5 tackles and interceptions per 90 and 21 pressures a game, with only one other player in the squad breaking 15. But over the past 4 years, the Dutchman has closed down opponents an average of 23 times a match, and this term ranks in the top 4 players in Europe for pressures high at the pitch, which should make Burnley even harder to play against than before. A miserable prospect for everyone facing a trip to Turf Moor during the run-in. An English speaker too, Valkhorst arrives with the Clarets bottom of the Prem but having only played 18 games, giving him more than half a season left and making his potential impact even larger. We're backing him to impress, though whether it's enough to keep his new team up remains to be seen. Robin Gosens. 4 points clearing with the game in hand at the halfway point of the Italian season, Inter go into the back end of the season heavily favoured to retain the Scudetto, but that hasn't stopped them moving to strengthen in January. In addition to offloading unwanted midfielders like Christian Eriksen and Stefano Sensi, the Nerazzurri have recruited veteran forward Felipe Caicedo from Genoa, but it's their swoop for Robin Gosens which has caught our eye. The German wingback arriving from rivals Atalanta on loan, with a reported €25 million obligation to buy, substantially below the €35 million transfer mark currently value him at. That's largely thanks to a hamstring injury which has kept him out since September, but Gosens is set to return in February at the ideal time to bolster Inter's title charge. In 21-22, Simone Inzaghi has mostly deployed Ivan Perisic at left wing back with some success, but Gosens will free the Croatian up to join the front line, and he has a history of exceptional production from wide, delivering 16 goals and assists in each of the last 2 league campaigns. That makes him one of the best creative defenders in Europe, and the German has routinely averaged 0.4 expected goals and assists per 90 across his spell in Bergamo, about the same as Rafinha and Alan Saint-Maximin this season. You'd expect given his position that's down to crossing, but Atalanta's unconventional attack has honed Gosens' offensive skill and variety, with the result that he passes into the penalty area about 1.4 times a game, good for 5th in the Inter squad, but only tries about 2 crosses per 90, compared to Perisic's 4. That should make the team more unpredictable, but Gosens isn't just a Marcos Alonso type wingback, failing to add anything outside the danger zone. Both a quality distributor and outlet, he ranks in the top 4% of fullbacks for passes which move possession more than 10 yards upfield, and in the top 9% for such passes received, helping his side zip down the flanks, and though he isn't great at dribbling past opponents, he still runs the ball forward often, sitting among the top quarter of players in his position for progressive carries. Add in a ton of high pressures and an impressive 3.5 tackles and interceptions per 90, about the same as other offensive fullbacks like James, Hakimi and Alexander-Arnold, and you have an athletic, rounded wide player who's comfortable out of possession as he is with it, and who, at 27, has enough experience to adapt quickly, but years of top-level output ahead of him. Inter have improved their first team and weakened the rivals, and they won't even have to pay a fee until the summer. If that isn't smart business, we don't know what is. So guys, that was our scout report on the 3 smartest transfers this January. What did you guys think of our rundown and which one do you think takes top dollar? Let me know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed the video, please smash that like button and subscribe to EuroFootball Daily, and I'll catch you next time.